Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Build Our Planet show. So, today we have with us our head of risk, Mr. Vamsi, and we'll be engaging today on a very interesting topic of thriving in the digital landscape with robust risk management. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
How do you feel, Plan?
Very good. Very excited to do this show. So really looking forward to your questions.
So, if we talk about Vamsi, about organization and where we have such a large retail base with us, that is where the more retail we go, the more it is difficult to manage risk, and it
Correct.
has got different elements.
Correct.
And that is where my first question is: if we talk about the environment today, which is ever changing in its own digital ways, it's ever changing. How do we really identify or prevent any fraudulent activities, or how do we ensure that we are safeguarding our customers, our portfolio, as well as in some case our own employees?
So as you know, over last 3 years there have been explosion of fintech per se. There's a lot of focus on low touch, no touch, or minimal touch as far as onboarding the customer is concerned. So, and there's been a lot of technology which is being used to kind of do this entire activity, and you can see that in the market shares. We ourselves, our consumer loan portfolio is going reasonably well. So does the market also. You see a lot of good players coming in. But as fintechs have actually their share has increased, their presence has increased, so does the frauds which have kind of linked to that, right? So there are different types of frauds which are basically happening, and the sophistication of the fraud, that's the best part, that's kind of going up as we see. We come to hear a lot of situations from the market where we are seeing different types of fraud being committed, which is always, they seem to be one ahead of the game. And that is where I strongly believe that we should have a multi-layered approach of kind of looking at these frauds. First, obviously, the user profiling. I think that's where a lot of work needs to be done, a lot of steps needs to be taken, like what is happening at LTFS already. There's also a lot of identity theft kind of situations which we have seen. There's a lot of activity which needs to be done on that side. Today, a lot of information, unfortunately, of your personal information is out there in the market, and it can easily be misused basically to kind of bring you on board. Similarly, because of the low touch or zero touch kind of processes for onboarding which has come into play, you also see a lot of requirement for enhanced due diligence. Your credit checks, your field verifications, your income checks, your background verification of customer, all these needs to really go up big time. And last but not least, and two most important stakeholders in this entire process for us to basically prevent these fraudulent activities would be one on training for our employees, right? Employees play a very critical role, and we through various activities, initiatives and programs need to bring them up to speed as to what are the typical frauds which are happening in the market, how can we basically prevent them, what are the tools which are available for them to kind of mitigate this. And the second stakeholder is customer himself, and we should basically run programs, a lot of awareness campaigns like what we do always, right, where you basically tell customer how not to basically fall for the fraudsters, one, and second, how not to become mules, basically where their information is being used either voluntarily or involuntarily. So I think all these things need to be kind of taken into account when we are trying to encounter the fraudulent activities which we are seeing in the market.
I think what you tried to say is in a way very simple. We always chase something which is fancy, but what you're trying to say that it's very basic. It's just about building up
Correct.
awareness every time.
Correct.
As we are growing our customer base, we
Correct.
need to keep doing that again and again
Yes.
to build the right mindset that what not to do precisely when you are in.
Agree.
And as you spoke about that the fintech world is changing, and with fintech world changing, there are at the same time frauds also increasing, but we see a lot of good innovations on the risk management side. So what do you think are some of the new interesting ones that either we are doing or you would like to do that in the future?
Sure. See, like frauds happen in every company, right? And we have also not been averse to that. So there are a lot of people who have hit us, but we also countered that. That's the best part which has happened over the last 1 year. We have done a lot of good work. So we have basically brought in very interestingly, there are a lot of mobile authenticity softwares and vendors which are available, where you can basically tell whether a person who is, if the person is logging from a number, whether that number indeed belongs to him, whether basically he's basically applying from the same circle where he has given the telecom circle where the communication address has come through. So there are a lot of mobile authenticity solutions. Similarly, there are a lot of identity authenticity solutions which are in place. We ourselves are basically, RBI has made it mandatory to use video conference solutions basically for identification purposes if it is a digital lending, especially our consumer lending. We are going into that category. And similarly, for most of our products, we have started using the liveliness. When you're capturing the live selfie, there's a liveliness check which is being done. That also kind of mitigates. That's basically, you cannot use photos basically to now defraud basically. Apart from this, we are also using extensively getting into the space where we're using alternate data. There are a lot of vendors which we are working with, whereby we are able to kind of identify the social aspects of a person, whether a person is salaried or not. There are a lot of innovation which is basically happening outside, and LTF is also using that. In addition, if you basically look at our bureau itself, earlier it was just a CIBIL score, but now we are basically building scorecards. We are basically creating credit segmentation, user scores. You're using scores from various vendors, which basically flag the what you call in terms of whether a customer is high risk, low risk, or medium risk, not only in terms of credit, but also on the other side. So what we see is that there is a lot of innovation which is happening. And LTFS being a fintech at scale, we are also basically using a lot of this, bringing them onto our journeys, and we are also trying to be one ahead of our fraudsters. Obviously, zero fraud is something which is an ideal state, but we want to, and we are moving towards an environment where the element or the percentage of fraud in our business, I strongly believe over a period of time will reduce even further, and we basically will bring in the right customer who ideally should work with us basically.
Absolutely. I think you spoke about a lot of innovative solutions, I would say, and you also hinted about fintech at scale. And when we think about fintech at scale, that is where this idea of Planet got emerged. So it's been now 18 months of
Correct.
Planet. Initially, we tried to use this platform more from customer engagement, from servicing or a business point. But would also like to hear from you that how can we use Planet also in some way to minimize risk if possible?
Correct.
Or at the same time, you being heading risk would also help us in how do we ensure that we can build up a safe platform for our customers also, so that they don't have to think twice before coming to this platform.
Sure. So first of all, congrats on whatever is happening with Planet app. A lot of good work has happened. App is future, right? Whether you like it or not like it, that is where everybody will move. And there are a lot of advantages of onboarding customers onto app. We can engage with them better. Obviously, we can know where they are, their patterns, activities, and obviously a good customer, we can also target and onboard a right set of customers. So Planet app is a very important initiative, and I strongly believe that we should do even better than what we are doing. We already achieved quite a bit. Having said that, what I also like about Planet app is a lot of good things in terms of safety is concerned, what we have put in. We already have authenticity, mobile authenticity, which is already there. We have streamlined our customer communication. Our data encryption, the security which we have put in place is top of the line. That way it is already there. But couple of things, obviously, there's always room for improvement in any good thing. Even perfection can be improved. That is what people say. So one thing is the latest data protection bill, which was passed by Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha in August 2023. That places a lot of emphasis on data minimalization, data security, data storage, what kind of information can be taken for how long, that puts a lot of obligations on us. What I understand is that we are already working with reputed external vendors, legal and compliance experts to align ourselves to data protection, but obviously a continuous adherence to that basically is of paramount importance, and I'm sure that is from risk point of view, one area where we should always be vigilant. If we are already compliant, we should be vigilant, right? And the second area which I would like to kind of bring about, considering risk, and we see a lot of this, especially InfoSec, we see a lot of issues coming through, is basically from the user point of view. Now, when I say what do you mean? Again, it comes down to the creating awareness and education for the users basically. So we should basically continuously engage them, continuously make them aware as to how different nefarious parties are basically using various methodologies to maybe make lookalike apps or phishing kind of solutions. So we should basically educate them how not to fall truant with that, or should basically fall for them. So in that sense, what I believe is that awareness, customer awareness, especially our users who are using continuous messages or campaigns to make them aware of the issues, I think that would be very important. I think apart from that, most of the other things I think we are already doing, and stay vigilant and always continue to increase awareness. Those are the two mantras which I would prescribe.
I think that is precisely what you spoke about, and that is very good for our listeners also.
Yes.
That they also educate our customers that please do not follow for any links which is coming from an unknown source. Always ask the customers to come company website or to get the app either through Play Store or App Store with Planet by Elite Finance. And if you think about now our Lakshya goals, this is where entire company is working together. We definitely are going to prepone our plan. But in this Lakshya goal, the idea is again to scale business, to move digitally ahead, to have a good risk mitigation strategy in place, as well as being ESG compliant or growing on that side. So what do you think will be risk role if you would like to achieve our Lakshya goals or like to prepone the plans?
So if you look at it, risk management is one of our 4 pillars in Lakshya 2026. Right now it is 2024, right? And obviously it is there for a particular reason. Idea basically is to build a sustainable business. Idea is obviously to grow fast, but also build it in a sustainable manner so that we basically do a lot of justice to various stakeholders. As far as initiatives are concerned, in risk per se, you have various risks which basically I take care of. You have operational risk. We have recently built a retail risk team, we have a model risk team, we have enterprise risk team, and obviously outside that there is InfoSec team. So there is a plethora of sub-segments within risk which have been set up over last 15 to 18 months. So we basically recently did something called as a project overhaul, as part of which we basically revamped the entire processes, SOPs of the organization, and we basically gave it a new touch. We basically, under operational risk, we have increased the team size, one, and more importantly, we also basically brought in more rigor where operational risk now gets involved in revamping whenever there's a revamp of a process or introduction of a new product. Risk is actively involved in that, so that we basically compliant at all times, and we identify the black spots or white spots which we are not able to see when it is being conceptualized. Apart from that, a retail risk team has been set up ideally to look at the processes, product, policy, data standardization, various things in the organization. We also have recently come up with a model risk team. The model risk team basically is going to work closely with the analytics team and ensure that our scorecards are various models which we use, whether it is for sales, whether it's for collections, propensity models. We basically ensure that all of them are validated and reviewed and monitored on an ongoing basis. And last but not least, we have an enterprise risk team. We basically became, RBI had asked us to basically become compliant with ICAP, Internal Capital Adequacy Plan. So we are basically already compliant with that. We are in process of putting a robust risk register in place. So from risk management point of view, a lot of action has happened thanks to a very strong senior management focus on this. All the Cs, all the GECs, everybody in every meeting, what we understand is, yes, business is important, but obviously doing it in a manner which is acceptable to us from risk point of view is also important. And finally, I would like to say this, that it is important to build strong risk management practices, but it's also very important that we don't lose the right customers. Right, and at risk in LTF, we strongly believe that onboarding the right customer is as important as keeping a bad one out. And our efforts, working with various business teams, product teams, IT, digital, and credit, basically, is to ensure that we bring in the right customer in. And that is what I would like to kind of emphasize, that yes, risk is important, but obviously losing right customer is also not acceptable, right?
I would say, Vamsi, this is definitely true, and I'm hearing a lot about it, that the way risk has transformed in last 2-3 years is helping business grow in the right way. And as you pointed out, it's not really about losing out a bad customer. It's more important that we should have the right customer and should retain that right customer.
Correct.
And the efforts towards that are definitely visible. That is where we have got 2 crore plus good customer base
Correct,
with us.
correct.
And would like to grow that.
Sure.
So thank you so much, Vamsi, for coming on the show. It's always a privilege to be in conversation with you.
Thank you.
And to all our users, as festival season is coming, so would like to wish you best wishes, happiness and prosperity for this season. Thank you so much for listening us.
Thank you.